Hey, it's Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com, and today we're down at Cleveland Browns Stadium. We're here with actor Bob Ari. Welcome to Cleveland, Bob.
Oh, thank you, Thomas. Hi out there in Webland.
You're here with the Cleveland Playhouse's production of Lombardi.
That's right.
So you're playing the famous coach Vince Lombardi.
I'm playing Vince Lombardi. That's right.
When you first went out for this role, what was it that attracted you to this character? He's a very strong character, isn't he?
Oh, very strong. I think you could say he's iconic. He's
Sure.
Amazing. You know, it's not just, the Packers are not just a team, it's a culture. And the great honor of playing Vince Lombardi, part of that honor is being sort of part, in a very distant way, of that Packer culture.
That whole history, the legacy of it. I mean, he was so legendary. The Super Bowl trophy is named after him, right?
That's correct, yeah. He won the first, he and the Packers won the first 2 Super Bowls.
Exactly.
That was the last 2 of 3 in a row. They had won the championship. It was just called the championship before that.
Right, the first year there wasn't even a Super Bowl the first time, right?
That's right. It's only when the AFC really came into being that they started the Super Bowl.
What is it about his character, do you think, that has such a winning combination to it? I mean, he really did something to that team. When he first took them over, I think the team won 1 game and lost 10. They had all the Hall of Famers, like 5 Hall of Famers on the team, but they were a losing team when he took over. What was it about his personality that made them winners?
It's really hard to say. I think he was uncompromising.
Right.
The famous line is, "Winning isn't everything; it's the only thing."
It's the only thing.
Which we find out in the play really came from a John Wayne movie, but
but he'll take it, right?
Yeah. And that was his credo.
Right.
That was what he believed in. And I think he was completely uncompromising. Winning to him would be his idea of purgatory. And he was a very religious man. He went to Mass every morning.
That's right. Religion was such an important thing, and family to him as well.
Yeah, and the Jesuit training really came into his coaching, a lot of it. Discipline, freedom through discipline, the power of pain. I mean, he believed in pain.
He believed in all that, yeah. Other quotes, victory is waiting for you. He said winning is a habit.
That's
right.
right.
So is losing.
It's a frame of mind. That's right.
Right.
That's right. And he went into a team that really had a bad frame of mind. He went into a team that had a losing frame of mind. And he said, "I've never been part of a losing tradition, and I do not intend to start now."
This is also a guy, we can't romanticize him too much. He was probably very difficult personally, right?
Very
to
difficult.
be around. And,
yeah.
and I mean, people admit this. How do you approach that? Because you want your character to be likable, but at the same time, you want it to be realistic, right?
Well, on one hand, you don't deny that. On the one hand, you want to play the conflict. You want to play the man with all of his warts, and but also because you have to fall in love with this man, and his commitment to what he was doing and his belief in what he was doing made him kind of narrow-minded, and that can one of his. I was watching a film last night about the '66 Packers, and the center. I wish I could remember his name. Jim Curry, said that he was a little bit of an a-hole.
Exactly.
And he hated him. But then when they started winning, they didn't hate him anymore.
They didn't hate him as much. Or you hate him personally, but professionally, he knew how to do his job.
That's
really
right.
did.
That's right. And he didn't stand for any slacking off. And there was a lot of that going on in the team when he got there.
A lot of this relates to the arts as well. It's a tough business. Perfectionism is what's rewarded, right? You've been at this a long time now as an actor. How many years?
I've been acting over 40 years.
Must be since you were a baby or so. What was your first acting role?
My first acting role was I was 8 years old. My grandfather was a producer in the Yiddish Theater in New York.
Really?
And it wasn't acting. He shoved me out on the stage and I sang a song. And that was the first time I had been on stage. Before that, I only performed in living rooms.
So you've seen it all. You do film, you do television, you do live theater. You were on the Broadway show of Frost Nixon.
Constant Wife, Laughter on the 23rd Floor.
You were just here in Cleveland, in fact, for Red, playing Mark Rothko. Just a Weeks ago, really.
Well, yeah, in March I was playing Mark Rothko in Red at the Cleveland Playhouse, and I was so anxious to get back to the Cleveland Playhouse. I think it's one of the, I've done a lot of regional theaters in this country. I've
Sure.
traveled a lot, and Cleveland Playhouse, I have to say, in its present formation, is one of the best theaters I've ever worked in.
It's remarkable, isn't it? The culture they have built up here.
Well,
and the
that's just what they
facilities.
did with the old theater, the
Yeah.
acoustics, Michael's leadership, Michael Bloom's
Michael Bloom.
leadership. I mean, he's really put this in the forefront of American theaters.
What is the difference when you go to play film, when you do television, and now when you do live theater? They're totally different approaches, I would think, to your
Completely.
craft.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you're on a stage, the smallest moment has to be read in the back of the balcony.
Right.
With movies, you can be a little pulled back, a little smaller, a little.
Subtle.
Usually, the thought is enough. The thought will read on the face, and that's enough. You don't have to do a whole lot.
Wow.
But that's also very freeing for an actor to be able to work in that medium where it's so internal.
Right. But you can't do that on stage. Everything has to be.
Everything has to be out. Everything,
All the way
you know,
out.
it's someone once said, in the movies you can think like this. On stage you have to think like this.
That's interesting. Right. So you're looking forward to this run. You guys just got started here now.
Just got started.
Together,
We just finished our first week of rehearsal.
Yeah.
We have a fabulous cast. Dee Dee Rescher is playing Marie Lombardi, my wife. We also have a fellow playing Paul Horning, the Branton Box. We have a fellow named Willie Watkins. He's brand new. He just got into town the other day because we lost our original, playing Dave Robinson, and a wonderful cast playing Jim Taylor, and then one fictional character. A young Nick is playing a young journalist, Michael. His name is Michael, and he's come to spend a week with Lombardi and find out
really
what makes him tick.
The structure of the play is this journalist comes in.
You see it through his eyes. Yeah.
Spends a week in his home, learning a lot about him, and we see it through his eyes.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, good luck with things here in Cleveland, Bob. Thank you so much for taking time out of your rehearsal schedule.
Thank you, Thomas. Thanks for having me on, and everybody, come see Lombardi. It's a hell of a show.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Hey, it's Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com. Have a great week in Cool Cleveland.